everyone to another episode of The Future in 5. My name is Jacob Morgan. This is where I share thoughts, ideas, and commentary on the future of work, usually in 5 minutes or less. I'm joined by a special guest today from our Future of Work Forum in Chicago, can't even speak. Neeru, she's the Chief Information and Chief Knowledge Officer at Aon. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Jacob.
So today we're going to talk about the Connected Company, and Neeru is going to share her top 3 tips for how you can create a connected company. What are your top 3 tips?
So my 3 tips are quite simple, right? So tip number 1, very clearly understand the objectives and the outcomes that you're trying to drive for your company and for your colleagues.
So it's not enough just to say we want to create a connected company.
Yes. What is the business purpose? What is the outcomes? How are you going to measure the success of it? Because at the end of the day, to create a connected company, one needs a funding, right? You need to make some investments, and then understanding that, I think, is really important up front.
Okay.
The second tip I would give is because connected company is a mind shift, perhaps. So it's a good idea to kind of look internally to say, well, culturally, where are we? How is this going to fit in with our strategy? And what kind of mindset, shift it would require for the colleagues or the partners that you're trying to do this for. So have some sort of a cultural readiness assessment because it is a change, right? Yeah. And then I would say trip 3 is to kind of go do it. And I'll just share our story, how we did it. Yeah. So
maybe share how big Aon is and what industry you guys are in.
So Aon we're a preeminent professional services firm serving top Fortune 500 companies in the space of talent and risk. We like to think of ourselves, we advise our clients on a daily basis on 6 major capabilities around talent, health, retirement, risk, capital, and analytics.
Surprised you remembered all those.
Of course, this is what we do. We are in 120 countries, over 500 offices, 72,000 colleagues.
It's a big company.
We have grown in the last 25 years with 450 acquisitions around the globe. So it's a very culturally diverse company. We're in the insurance industry, so I would say, technically we might be a little bit behind if you compare us to the Googles and the Amazons, but we are getting there with this whole notion of connected company, right?
Cool. So what are your 4 C's?
So our 4 C's at Aon, and the 5th is the culture, which I talked about, so I don't want to forget about that. Our 4 C's are connecting colleagues to each other. So if you just think about the geographic footprint of Aon, right? How do we connect colleagues to each other to tap into their tacit knowledge, their explicit knowledge to serve clients? So really connecting colleagues based on skill and their expertise to meet our clients' needs is really important to us. So we actually started with connecting colleagues. And we're still working on it, connecting colleagues. And we started with the simple journey of creating profiles, which seems rather simple, right? So companies like, you look at PwC, Accenture, where they've done this for years, but for our industry, this was a revolution. I would say internally it was a revolution. I still think we are perhaps one of the only large insurance companies, brokerage companies that have actually accomplished what we have. So,
yeah, it's exciting.
So we have nearly 42,000 of our colleagues with their profiles completed. We have shut down all the competing directories, whatever have you, from around the globe. So there's one source of truth, which is, where's your profile?
So it's called connecting colleagues.
Connecting colleagues. And then we went on with connecting content. Mm-hmm. So if you think about our diverse, footprint again, we serve in, the 6 capabilities. And if you just think about our client needs, they can come from any perspective, right? So we could be talking to a client on, what are your talent issues? And the client could be saying, cyber is really in the news and that's on my mind. So how do we empower that account executive to kind of listen to the client need and then come back to Aon and say, who can I talk to about cyber? Because I really know talent, right? How can I bring the right expertise from Aon to our client? So we thought about content and that content and colleague connection, right?
So colleague content.
So we've created a library where we have all of our sort of thought leadership, sell sheets, product information, key capabilities that colleagues have on their fingertips. So colleagues, content, key content, right? And we're just scratching the surface there. And the third was collaboration. So what our colleagues wanted, and this is interesting, right? Collaboration comes in many technical forms, but collaboration, if you just put it in human form, is can I have access to anybody at Aon at any time?
Yeah.
Based on my interests, right? So we have a collaboration network. We use Yammer. We launched it in 2014. Actually, we did a very fun Empower Results campaign. So Aon celebrates how we empower our communities every year. And we actually launched, that was the only campaign I ever did. We launched Yammer for that. We donated $1 per post, and we vaccinated a village in Africa. It was fun.
Very cool.
But that was a tipping point for Yammer, where, you know, in the past, colleagues just wanted to connect with each other and just think about a way of connecting on a human level, how we're making social impact. So we launched that. And now Yammer's got 60,000 colleagues around the globe, and it's used for varied purposes. So you'll see, you know, private groups, public groups, Uber private groups that no one can search. Our leaders actually go there and they Yammer on it. We've had Yam sessions. Now we're thinking about how do we use Yammer collaboration for productive outcomes. So rather than it just being a communication and social engagement tool to business outcome. So my third C is C. And there's a lot more to be said on that, but just, you know, C. And then the fourth is communications. So not only, you know, communications internally and externally. So at Aon we had challenges with our colleagues don't necessarily read corporate communications. They can be boring.
Most people don't.
Most people don't. So how do we make communications? It's about you, for you, by you, things that are of your interest. And we're actually tugging along with it a little bit with push-pull, right? So if we know who you are, where you're located, what division you belong to, so we like to kind of push a little bit. And then over time, we're going to turn this whole thing on subscription basis. So, you know, you have what you need to read, but based on your interests, you can subscribe to whatever you want to.
I like it.
Right? And then the fifth C is culture.
Culture, of course.
Culture leads strategy for food any day, right?
All right, so just to recap, your 4 tips or your 3 tips for creating a connected company are?
Know your business case, what outcomes you're trying to drive very clearly. Otherwise, you will not get funding or the sponsorship you need for it. Cultural assessment, very important. You must know where you are and what are you trying to be as you put this into place. And then the 4 C's. So think about how you want to connect colleagues, your talent. How do you want to think about content, collaboration, and communication?
Well, there you have it. How to create a connected company from one of the leaders in an organization that's actually doing it. If you want to get access to more of these videos, you can visit thefutureorganization.com. You can check out Aon and some of the cool stuff that they're doing as well. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at JacobM. And how can people connect with you?
They can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm not quite active on Twitter yet.
We forgive you.
LinkedIn, Neeru Arora.
There you go. All right, we'll see you next time on an episode of The Future in 5. Hey, are you interested in the future of work? If so, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the latest content on the future of work and stay up to date on all the latest trends and happenings. Not to mention, you will make me very, very happy. Make sure to subscribe.